You're listening to the Rogers Waterfowl Podcast. This is Aaron Jones.
Chandler Smith here. Let's talk some waterfowl. Man, it has been a while since we've been on here.
Definitely been a while since we've been on here. We had a little bit of a hiatus. I guess we kind of want to apologize for that. We got busy. The holiday season kind of kicked us in the tail.
Yeah, it was. Did we make it in November? And then November was just absolute nuts.
It was crazy. It was chaos. And then December continued with the craziness and the chaos. And we're sort of able to breathe now, kind of.
Yeah.
So
honker season's in full swing right now. Our duck season just ended Sunday. We got out for the last day of the duck season.
Boy, it ended crazy here for us. And, of course, 9 times out of 10, we're hunting public ground.
Yep.
And Saturday was just a whirlwind.
That was just – it was weird. It was
first light until like 10:30. The last
10:55.
10:55 was the last time I looked at my phone. It was just group after group, and you might have a lull of 15 or 20 minutes, and then here come 25 more birds, and then
there was times we had too many to really like make a decision or call a shot. We just watching and just enjoying, because there was this swing of 20, this swing of 15, this swing of 20, and then just back and forth, and there was a single here, single there, and we're just, you didn't shoot the single because you were working, 3-4 other groups, and you were just, it was absolutely chaos for a couple different periods of the morning on Saturday.
But a lot of random birds this last weekend, too. I've seen, let's see, it was golden eyes. Saturday was all golden eyes.
I thought that was pretty fun, as far as we weren't, we've been shooting Drake mallards all most of the season. Pretty.
And teal, a lot of teal.
Yeah, we always shoot a lot of teal in this area. I feel like they hang around some of the public places we hunt quite a bit. But, yeah, Saturday, I think we shot a total of 10 golden eye and like 5 Drake mallards, but we could have shot a lot more golden eyes. And just sometimes we didn't pull the trigger because there were just so many.
Yeah, you've got a group of 20 and you're following them around, and then pretty soon there's 3 that sneak in and they're right in your face, and then you see those coming in, so you pull your focus off the 20, and it's just you couldn't.
Yeah,
it was like ADD duck hunting.
And we shot, I don't know how, 3. Like like taxidermy mountable.
Yeah, I got one that
eyes.
I'm going to put on the wall.
I mean, just gorgeous. The white and black with the dark green, and on the head with the kind of that very mature. What would you call it? That
the poofy head.
Yeah, not a mohawk, but yeah, just like that. Just that different. Like, I think the more the mature
bulbous head. Yeah.
Yeah, they have that different head look, and we had some of those, and just perfect, in color. It was a blast, and it's so cool to see those. I mean, they're a gorgeous looking bird.
Oh yeah, when they're flying by, they're very distinct.
I shot a good one last year, and I had it mounted in a really cool mount that your dad actually did.
Yes,
and it was just standing mount on some. So like a driftwood, some rocks. It sits on my desk at work. It's a pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, so.
I can't decide what I'm going to do with mine. I don't know if I want to do that, or I think I kind of want to do it flying. They look so awesome flying, but I want those giant feet too. So I might do it like it's coming. I don't know. There's so many options. So
while we're on the topic, talk about Sunday, the last day of duck season. That was a fun. It was kind of a slow day. Like, it was kind of a rough day. The conditions weren't great for a hunt, and the birds weren't acting great, but at the end of it, we sure had a funky mixed bag of waterfowl. It was kind of neat.
What did we end up with? We ended up with a speck.
Well, we shot one speck. We called out a bunch of others, but we had no speck decoys or goose decoys in general. We just had me out there with a speck call, just giving them hell, getting them all I got.
But we did get. The groups that did fly over looked at us.
Oh yeah, they
just never committed.
Yeah, and I think maybe we had 3 or 4 speck, like big groups of specks fly over, and maybe if there's one group of specks, it might have been different because they might have saw other specks and got confused or whatever. But we had them turning and hovering and swinging over and stuff, but they never committed. But we shot a speck first thing in the morning, though, which is pretty cool.
And he didn't hesitate, man.
No, he was a single, and he was done for. He was excited that he found somebody else on the water.
3 guys jumped up.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. He was it was kind of one of those. He's kind of a group spec. I mean, obviously one guy claimed him that we just kind of, you probably shot first, but I think 3 guns went off and he wasn't going to go anywhere.
Speaking of specs, we haven't really seen much besides this year. I think maybe some people saw them last year, but I remember back when I was hunting a lot of Canadas in January, in the duck season, I never saw that many specks years ago.
No.
And we saw them one day on the very last day of goose season, and that was the first I ever seen them 4 or 5 years ago. But I haven't seen them since until this year. Shoot, I shot some in November after goose season opened.
Yeah. Before,
We
I
were
never
duck
used
hunting.
to see them except during the conservation order.
Correct.
That was the only
Yeah.
time I'd see specks. But now they're showing up in more numbers. They're showing up earlier when you can actually hunt them here in our area.
Yeah, I definitely start thinking about spec decoys for next year.
Oh yeah, I don't have a spec call, but I think I'm going to lean towards getting one just because before, like I said, when you're honkers or anything like that, we never saw them. But now that's something I need to work on.
And spec calls, there are more and more really good quality spec calls out there. I'm talking acrylic calls we sell from Riceland to the zinc. It's got a good spec call, and Tim Ground's got a spec call, and there's some other good ones.
What'd you
Power
use?
calls is what I had.
Yeah.
That is a very good spec call to learn on and to use. Because this is probably my first year actually calling in specs, and I've done it multiple times this year. And this was I've bought a couple other spec calls and didn't end up liking them the best. But then this power call was an awesome call to learn on, and I picked it up really well. And I've blown the others too, like the Zincs and the Tim Grounds and the Riceland and stuff. They're very good. All of them are acrylic. They're all really, really nice. They sound great. But so all of them are good choices.
So yeah, quite the crazy weekend.
Yeah.
And I think the main difference between just constant activity and just the birds were coming in and they were committed, as to Sunday they weren't quite as committed. We'd get some looks, but they weren't coming in. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that it was 60 degrees Saturday and it was super windy Sunday. So we had to break ice Saturday morning, and on the arm of the lake we were at, we were about the only chunk of open water with the exception of a little pool out in front of us. And then
So Saturday we had a better day, I think, because of the availability of open water, because we made a whole Saturday morning.
And then Sunday,
and it was
with
sunny.
the wind,
Sunny and no wind, which is no wind's not good, but we had every bird in our area coming to check us out.
Well, we had a couple spinning wings. We had several water motion decoys, so that helps.
And we had pulsators out. We had the Lucky Duck HDI, the new one for this year, fully waterproof. That thing was, it comes with a 9-foot, is it 7-foot pole right out of the gate? I mean, so we definitely take advantage of that. We run spinning wings at 2 different levels and everything, so it kind of looks different maybe from everybody else who's kind of stuck with the standard 4-foot. But a couple of pulsators, and we had some motion, some flash, and some decoys out.
Yeah, and then Sunday, of course, with it being 60 degrees Saturday, melting ice and wind and pushing ice everywhere. Yeah. And then that's part of the reason we had to conclude our hunt Sunday, because the ice sheets were moving across the lake and pushing our decoys.
Yeah, the Sunday, more of the lake opened up, so we weren't the only hole, which hurt, and it was cloudy and a little bit windy, but we just, into the season, we sure did.
It was fun.
Bang them up Saturday. But going back to Sunday, we shot that spec, but we also shot 3 honkers, 3 or 4 mallards.
Yeah.
And then what was the coolest one?
That common merganser.
A common merganser. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And you were calling them out ahead of time.
Yeah, when they were flying by, I was like, boom.
They're a huge bird.
Yeah.
And they didn't want anything to do with us, but one finally checked us out, and we harvested it, and it was just gorgeous. I've never really paid attention to common merganser. If you guys are listening who don't know what we're talking about, we're not talking about a hooded merganser. A common merganser. If you look at those things,
they're huge.
They're cool looking diver. They're big, great colors. They got a dark emerald head on them with a red bill,
and they've got their
sharp teeth.
Feet are like that late season red leg mallard.
Yeah, they're very bright. They're not a black diver foot or anything. They're very bright reddish orange.
I think they're cool looking. I'm sure a lot of people that see them all the time say, that's one of the ugliest birds out there. But to me, they're cool looking.
Yeah. So that was really neat to see that. I mean, we just saw we had some golden eyes too Sunday. We just had
hooded mergansers. We didn't shoot them, but I mean, we
saw
saw them. Yeah. Literally everything. We even had teal buzzing us one of the days. What day was that? Saturday? I can't remember.
It was Saturday.
Yeah, we saw literally everything out there.
And all sorts of different shapes and sizes.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, Sunday we shot big Canada geese. One was banded.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And specks and mallards and a common merganser. So it was a weird looking bag, but it was fun. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I that was one of the better hunts I've had on public land Saturday.
Yeah, and it was a preacher's buddy of ours' dog, first full duck season, finished up his first full duck season and got to retrieve his second speck, but his first honker on water.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't got to retrieve any honkers
yet.
He
did pretty good learning to break ice, too.
Yeah.
It was thin ice. There was a couple times where he would swim out, and we'd lift him up, put him on the ice, and we made sure it was thick enough. So, obviously, his safety was kind of one of our priorities.
Yeah. But we probably could have shot more if we weren't worried about that, you know.
Exactly.
If we had a boat or if we were at an area where we knew that it wasn't that deep, we could have waited and taken the time and busted ice out there ourselves. But we were on a lake, so we had to really take time on our shots to make sure that we were able to, you know, retrieve the actual harvest. And the dog is a crucial factor. We wouldn't be able to get a lot of those if we didn't have the dog because they're just outside our wader limit. But the dog was great. And Sunday when the ice was just thin enough, that dog was. I mean, he didn't stop. He would go through and bust that ice all the way to that bird. He wouldn't even care.
It's crazy. You get a good dog like that. Their drive to get that bird is incredible. Yeah. He didn't want to give it up. I think there's a couple times we had to go drag him and say, "No, you're done. You don't exhaust yourself out trying to get through this ice. It's not going to happen." And yeah, their drive is incredible. But it was good hunting. It was fun. I guess we're done with ducks.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate until.
Well, yeah, we're done in Missouri. October. I don't know if we might. Maybe we could snag a Kansas when they reopen it back up. If we can snag a Kansas hunt.
Yeah.
I know Arkansas is still going. A lot of areas down south, they're still killing it. But we're on the honkers now. Mm-hmm. Got the goose spread working, trying to get that figured out.
And it's been kind of an odd year as far as the weather. I mean, early in December, we were frigid cold.
Yeah.
And we thought everything was going to freeze up early. We thought birds are going to move through the end of season. We're not going to have any. And then sure enough, a couple days ago, woke up at 5 a.m. and it's 58 degrees.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like spring. It felt like I should be shooting a turkey in the face, not a goose in the face.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been a weird year, but I feel like I've said that the last 3 years in a row. It's been a weird year.
I think we probably say that every year.
Yeah, we do. And of course, we were talking about it this weekend. We're like, I don't understand how, we were out Saturday. The week before the Saturday, the high was, it was New Year's Day. So it was like 5 days earlier. The high was 22, the low was 14. And then, 5 days later, it's 58 at 5 a.m, a high of 62. And yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how we always feel that, if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes. But I think everybody says that in every state, but it's true.
Yeah, we feel like Missouri's the only one that has the weird weather swings, but I bet, everybody says that. But
every state's got bipolar
weather.
I mean,
New Year's Day, we were hunting mallards and geese in a field.
Well, we were trying to hunt geese, but
we just always shot for mallards. But the geese were locals and they had their routine. And
educated.
We gave them all we got, but the mallards definitely paid more attention to us because they were excited.
And the mallards that came in, man, they
did it. They didn't just swing above our mojos or lucky ducks, a couple times. I mean, they were boots on the ground, feet on the ground.
Oh yeah, there was one time I was tucked into the layout blind and I was digging around for some shells. And I hear you or somebody say, take them, and you're hopping up. And I was like, well, wait a minute, I never even saw them. But it's because they came in so low, right in our face. They came in low, right in our face. And I'm, looking up in the air as I'm reaching for shells, and they're below tree line coming in our face.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't catch those because those came in. We were calling, and those came in just perfect on a string, just like the script wrote. And they coming on your side.
I said, I was digging around in the blind.
And I even said your name, like, Aaron, all right, they're on your side, get ready. And then we're like, take them. And then We shot a good amount out of that group, but I don't think you really got a shot or the best shot.
Yeah, it was one of those almost from the hip, just kind of whoop, hey, whoop, there they go, boom, and
Yeah.
I didn't hit a thing. It was embarrassing. That was the day that I was just donating steel towards the cause. It was not my best day, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we had a good looking spread
Yeah.
of honkers.
We did. We're running honkers like we talked about in recent podcasts with Ricky. We ran 7 dozen honkers and 3 spinning wing decoys, 2 lucky ducks, and a mojo.
Yeah.
Not as big of a goose spread as we would want, but that's what we could handle getting it out to that field because we had to get it out by
hand.
Yep, by hand on our backs on a sled, whatever way we can get it out there. So it was definitely wasn't that bad though. We got pretty
No.
creative.
We did get creative. We had, and the funny thing is it's 2 dozen Bigfoots and
It was 2 dozen Bigfoots, 3 dozen FA live crafts, 2 dozen FA lessers, and some FA shells.
Yeah, because we carried 2 dozen Bigfoots.
Yeah, 2 dozen Bigfoots and some live crafts and some lessers and some shells. I mean, it was a all right spread to carry out. We got it out there. We shot some mallards, but
all shapes and sizes represented in that spread.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, and like I said, 90% of what we hunt is public ground.
Yeah, and we're taking out Goosebuster layout blinds. We had, and not light ones either. We were taking out Goosebuster XLs, 3 of them.
And I was in the LP.
And you were in LP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were the only one in the low pro.
Yep, absolutely. But I mean, it was a good day. It was fun.
So it's been about mid-November, not December, mid-November since our last podcast, and late November is definitely a crazy busy time for us. Like we said earlier, with the
Black Friday,
and Cyber Monday. Yeah, and just the holiday sales. We were out on the shipping floor, like on the packlet line, getting your guys' waterfowl orders from the website on the truck. Trying to catch back up because we just get an amazing amount of response during this time of year or during the holiday season from you guys.
Oh yeah, it was
online orders. It was just absolutely crazy.
I mean, yeah, I'm the social media guy. I was out there pulling orders.
Yeah,
you're advertising. We had several of our buyers out there. I mean, it was literally all hands on deck because it's one of those things where we know that you guys order something, you want it. You don't want to wait 10 days. You want it, and we understand that. So. Yeah, that's why we didn't do hardly any social media videos. We didn't do hardly anything because our main focus was getting orders out. Because, I mean, we do stuff and we got incredible customers that you guys show us support like crazy. I mean, it's unreal how awesome you guys are. And the best part is we'd have people call or they'd ask me questions on social media, and I'd say, hey, I'm just going to be honest, we're running, 4 days behind, or, I don't know if we got 5 days behind. We might have. But everybody was really cool.
Not for very long if we did, but it was mainly 4 days, and then we trickled back down.
Yeah, but everybody was so understanding about it, and we appreciate that you guys, that we just explained, hey, you guys overwhelmed us with orders, and here's what's going on, and everybody was cool about it. I don't think we had anybody that I never dealt with anybody that got really upset or irate about it or anything. But And
the thing about we were in mass chaos, freaking out that we were 4 days behind. But I know there's websites out there that's their norm. You won't get a confirmation email that their product is leaving until 4 days later. Is not a big a deal to some people, but it's a huge deal to us because we like to do same day. If you put an order in before noon, 3 o'clock, it's going to go out, and that's what we run that 325, 330, 340 days a year. I don't know exactly. I mean, there's only there's only probably about 14 days we don't hit that,
and that's right around the Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yep,
all that, Christmas. A lot of times. But yeah, like you throw an order in right now, as long as it's before 1 or 2 p.m., it's probably going to go out that day. It's just the nature of the beast, and that's how it is. We're going to work on that for 2019. We're going to get a little bit better here this year, I'm sure. So hopefully that lag won't even be 4 or 5 days, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, we always get more and more efficient. So,
It is what it is. But, yep, we're back. We're going to start hitting up podcasts again. So we appreciate everyone jumping back in and listening. But, yeah, we felt we owed you a little bit of an explanation there because we didn't want to leave you high and dry. And we've had a few people ask about what was going on, and it's just life. It's just the busy season. It's just the nature of the business. But we're back at it. And so right now, as far as kind of like what we've got going on, social media, we've got a bunch of stuff. We're going to do some videos and stuff. Being that honkers are the only thing open, we're going to hit those. And then, of course, conservation orders.
Mm-hmm.
Those start before too long.
Yeah.
So we'll get, fired up and do a lot of snow goose decoys and videos and stuff like that. Now, you yourself, do you like to hunt snow geese?
I think I would. I actually never have gone out and hunted snow geese. I've always been hunting honkers until the very last day, and then that kind of ended my season. But I think this year we're going to try to get out and get some because we've always been really focusing on throwing our any budget we have left over, anything like that towards a duck spread or a honkers.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't got everybody ready to go, full force into the snow goose socks and stuff.
Well,
it takes ground too.
Well, it takes ground, and it's tough because it's not like ducks, geese, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dozen, whatever, 10 dozen. Man, snow geese. It seems like you're starting to get where you need after 500.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, I got to start at 500. So I know I've hammered them with less, but then I've also had 1,200 out, and you can't get them to come in. So to me, they're the most frustrating bird out there. I don't know. Turkeys sometimes can do that to me, but I don't know. Snow geese, it's fun if you're on them, but there's so many times, more often than not, I'm in a field. There's 800 decoys out around me, in front of me. We've got the e-collars out during the conservation order, and 60 birds go to the field next to you. And then for the next 2 hours, every bird that's in the county goes to that field next to you. It seems like that. I'm sure our listeners, I'm sure you guys have had that happen too, and it's frustrating.
I can imagine all that work you put in to put out 800 decoys and then watch them laying next to you. It's just like your heart drops.
That, and you're like, okay, it's Saturday. We've got this field set up. We scratched some birds out today. You get up, you go out there Sunday, and the wind's changed. So then you're moving the spread around, or you got to shuffle things around. It's a lot of work, and that's to me, it's almost worth it to go with an outfitter at that point, somebody who does all the work for you, because you pay a little bit of money and you go shoot them for a day, and then you're done with it.
Yeah,
What's
the fun in that?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I have mixed emotions on snow geese.
Blood, sweat, and tears is what it's all about, right?
And I'll do that for ducks and honkers all day long. For snow geese, I don't know. And then then you get into, you come home when you got 90 geese, you got to clean them all.
Yeah.
Because I'm not one to waste them or anything like that. Now, if somebody has them, and I know we've got some family friends that absolutely love geese, I'll give them away if they want to do that. But if I don't have that arranged ahead of time, I'm skinning them and they're going in the freezer, and I'll make jerky or something. But if I've got an arrangement ahead of time where somebody's like, yeah, if you get a bunch of geese, can I have them? Sure. But I don't know. Mixed emotions on those things. But anyway, we're going to be doing videos on them. We got some new socks this year, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got some new fold-down Final Approach socks. And White Rock, the evac snow guys, you guys, that's a pretty cool decoy to check out.
We just did a huge giveaway on those too.
Yeah, we just gave away. Is
10
it done
dozen.
Yet?
Yeah.
We pick a winner? Yeah, that was yesterday. We pick a winner. 10 dozen evac full-body snows. These things are sold in a dozen. So 10 boxes. About, they sell them on their website for $200. We sell them $159.99 once you get 5 or more. But it's one heck of a decoy. Super good-looking carve.
Yeah, and they're very flexible.
And light.
And crazy light and flexible for a full body.
Yeah.
They've got a stake that they move around on really well.
Yep.
Great carve. They're a awesome looking decoy and lightweight
for a full body, yeah.
So, and what's nice about those is a lot of times people get those big seed bags and they just fill them with decoys, and you get that full of the heavier full bodies. It's all you can do to slide those around out in the field. But with these, as light as they are, one guy can handle them.
Mm-hmm.
One guy can handle them. So it's nice there.
That FA sock has got some pretty cool design on the back, a little bit different than what you've
Mhm.
seen typically in the industry. It's a fold down sock, and just a pretty competitive price. Other than that, when we sell a pile of Avery full body snows and Avian X painted snows.
Yeah, we'll get some
Yeah.
videos out on those too.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people want to see that. Let's see, a lot of these videos we've probably got them on YouTube. We'll freshen up some of them, but I know we just did the final approach like a week ago, 2
Mhm.
weeks ago. So you can check that out on YouTube. You can listen to this and you can check that out on YouTube. But yeah, lots of good snow goose stuff up there. I'll tell you what we don't have a lot of right now, and that's waders. Holy cow!
Yeah.
You guys bought every single pair of waders we own this year, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we went through. We're about plumb out. I mean,
Literally, and I think that's probably the number one question I've got on social media for like the past, probably since before Christmas. So I'd say the past at least 3 weeks, people asking when we're going to get more waders in, and we ordered so many more than we did last year, and I mean, of course, Sitka waders, they just disappeared.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was to be expected. Those Delta waders, yeah, but our Rogers waders, holy cow!
Yeah. Yeah.
The elite,
Tons.
the tough man.
The elite 3-in-1s, tough men 3-in-1s, even the neoprene 3.5 mils. You know, elite 5 mils. I mean, we had a huge offering, and all of it disappeared. So.
I think I have noticed though the trend is going towards breathable. I mean, we're selling way more breathable waders. So if you guys are still using neoprene, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking for something new, if maybe you got a hole or sprung a leak in your neoprene, or you're tired of them, or maybe it's time for a new pair, breathable.
Yeah.
Check out breathable.
And next year our orders are definitely a lot bigger. And if you watched your buddy get some, or you saw your buddy get some, and you want some, get ready for next year. New styles, new camos, and
oh yeah, and FYI, we are out of waders for this year. I mean, we're not going to be able to get any more in time for this season.
Yeah,
so
we're talking June, July.
Yeah,
next
even
time
guys, if you've got a season that's open for 3 or 4 more weeks, we can't do it, man. It's not happening. But yeah, we're going heavy in waders because that's the last thing I want to do is tell someone, yeah, sorry, we don't have your size or we don't have what you need. I hate turning people away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of those things that we're going heavy in waders again. But yeah, you guys overwhelmed us with support there. So we're gonna make up for that. And there's new camos coming out this year.
Well, yeah, our waders would be in a couple. We'd offer it in Max 5 and Bottomland, and then next year, you will see it in the Real Tree timber pattern.
Yeah,
in certain models, I think the Tough Man and Elite will have it in the Real Tree timber pattern, will be good. Good looking pattern, new to the market. So
yes, absolutely, and of course, lots of exciting things coming out. We've seen some of the stuff at some of the shows already, but lots of cool stuff from Drake and Bandit and a lot of the companies. They got a lot of cool stuff coming out. So I'm excited for a lot of the stuff we're going to have for fall of 2019.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's exciting. 2019 is going to be exciting, not only from a hunting standpoint, but just Rogers, we're growing, man.
Yeah, it's a blast for
Absolutely.
sure.
Big things going to happen. You'll see it as it progresses through the year, but I mean, we're already getting ideas and spinning things around for Waterfowl Weekend, and that's 8 months away.
Yeah, I should have been probably working on Waterfowl Weekend 2 months ago. So it feels like everything that should have been done started going on 2 months ago.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll be here before we know it.
That's one event that I look forward to. It's a lot of work, but when it's here, it's fun.
Yeah.
So if you've never been a part of Waterfowl Weekend, you're like the outcast. It is such a fun event. Talk to your buddies. We'll build it up on social media, of course, but that's one thing you're going to want to stop by. If you live in Washington, Oregon, Russia, go ahead and make the trip over. It's such a fun event, and it's just the calling contests.
Yeah. There's a bunch of bunch of waterfowlers out there having a good time. I mean, we have a lot of cash prizes for the calling contest, but there's also people to see, vendors to see, like companies to see, products to buy.
Parking lot party talking about waterfowl gear.
I mean, yeah.
It's a bunch of duck hunters, a bunch of goose hunters hanging out, talking.
Yeah.
Birds, shooting birds, duck hunting. So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And a lot of the call makers are there in store.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in calls, if you have questions about calls, if you want to try calls, if you want to get tips, or if you want to talk to the call makers, they're there. And they'll help you out. They'll tell you what you need to know. I mean, it's fun. It's not only a fun experience, learning experience. You can talk to the decoy manufacturers, the reps, they're all there.
Yep.
So it's good stuff there. So what else do we have on the plate coming up?
Well, I mean, I guess we're still. I mean, we still got some weeks on honkers. I was going to say, let's talk about. I don't know if we've covered really our honker spread yet and what our thoughts are. I mean, we can go into the full bodies, the socks, the silhouettes, the blind placement, to just how you set your decoys and stuff like that. How you put where you put your sleeper shells. Field versus ice or water or whatever. I mean, so January 1st, a few days ago, we hunted a field for honkers. We didn't have a lot of action, but I did we shot some mallards, but I did like the spread look. I agreed with you. You kind of set up the spread. I was working on the layout blinds that we kind of all have a job in the morning to get everything done. But I really liked what you did, and I guess we can go over. I've seen back when I first started hunting honkers, we did a lot of like really designated horseshoe looking or J hook kind of stuff. When it was like you couldn't draw on it better on a we were perfect Nike swoosh. I mean, it was like we just did everything perfectly to the T, and we felt like we got a lot of passes back in the day. And I think it was because of the uniform, and we didn't realize that every decoy was 2 steps away from each other, because we didn't.
You walk it off.
Walk 2, drop a decoy, walk another 2, drop a decoy. And we had like these perfect lines of the J and everything. It looked just gorgeous for somebody playing with dolls, but we call them sometimes dollcoys because we nerd out on them. But what you did, you explained kind of what you were doing. I really, really liked it, and I think a lot of people do the same stuff.
I didn't really do anything with rhyme or reason. I kind of took the decoys, and I did try and mix up some sizing a little bit, throw some live crafts in with some Bigfoots, maybe sprinkle in a lesser here and there. A lot of times, I'd get a small group of lessers off to one side, or kind of kept the sleepers over here, maybe throw one random sleeper with some of the full bodies. But I kind of did little pods here and there, and it was a little bit more of a random type thing.
Yeah.
I think, this late in the year, they've seen probably everything. So the more you can kind of mix it up and just maybe throw a little something in there they haven't seen.
Yeah.
Give them an extra large, kill hole.
We still had a kill hole. We still had decoys to the left of the kill hole to the right. But they were in pods. And, we had the sentries kind of on the outskirts, looking the natural way. We had on the right side of the spread, we had all the sleepers, and they were all facing the right way. Because when these birds kind of get down, lay down, and if it's cold and they're kind of starting to sleep, or, they're going to face to where they're facing the wind, to where that wind is, not blowing on the back of their feathers and stuff. So remember that, throwing your decoys out. And I just really liked the randomness. It didn't look like a prepared spread that you saw online on a form or something like that, or the different swoosh or the slant or anything like that you've seen. We had a purpose for it. We had a kill hole. We had decoys. They were just kind of random, which is really good. We really tried to focus on getting them to not look so perfectly placed. Sometimes there was big 10, 15-foot gaps between decoys, like a pod here, and then they start over here. And it wasn't like you took 2 steps and put another decoy, put 2 steps.
But then there was areas where there was decoys within, a foot of each other.
Yeah, they were packed in a little bit heavier. Some of the feeders might be a little bit closer to each other. So maybe we're trying to show that feed on that certain area. And, and then we actually had a spinning wing decoys with us because it was still duck season. But even if it wasn't duck season, we'd have those down, and we still have a great looking spread.
Yeah, and of course, we run the Lucky Duck HDIs, so they got the remotes. So if the honkers were coming, obviously you just shut them off, no big deal.
Yeah.
But in case we did see ducks, which ironically that's all we saw for the most part, we had them with us. But a lot of people too, they're going to really load decoys around the layout blinds. To try and, I guess, hide the layout blinds. But my thought was we sprinkled some around it, but we didn't go heavy. You spent more time camouflaging and brushing in the blinds to
Mhm.
make them look good, as opposed to throwing, decoys, all over them, on top of them. You're tripping over decoys trying to get in and out of
Yeah.
your blind, or something like that. And we
And
we didn't do that. We had some in front, one in between maybe, and then a few out back. But the biggest part of what I guess you could call a feed was kind of off to one side.
yeah.
It was we tried to pull the focus off to the side, not necessarily on our blinds or anything like that. An exaggeratedly, large kill hole with just a small little pod right out in the middle of the kill hole, like they had just come in. Other than
Mhm.
that, it was randomness.
Yeah, and we always ask the question, where do we want to put the blinds as a part of this spread? Sometimes I think that I don't necessarily like the birds always staring. You feel
Mm-mm.
like they're staring right at me
Mm-hmm.
when we're hunting. Cause I feel like if you're going to get better luck, because we all move around or
Mhm.
look around, or we're a little bit lazy sometimes on our layout blinds. But if you're in a field, I think sometimes it determines where the field determines where you put the blinds. If you have a field with a ton of extra stubble, extra corn, you got a lot of extra material, you can really hide your blinds. I would put them in the kill hole. I
Mhm.
mean, I would love get to where the geese are in your face, but that's only if you're confident that your blinds are
Mhm.
not sticking out, because you're in the open and you're relying on that layout blind to be covered in corn stubble and filled in the sides, and the doors are and the flaps are everything. Behind the back of the blind is filled up, and you look like their depth perception is not the greatest, so you look like just flat cornfield.
Mhm.
If like the field we hunt that Tuesday was January 1st,
Mhm.
New Year's Day. We didn't have it was really frozen, so it was hard to get some of that stubble, and it wasn't that abundant, and we were
No.
really struggling. Um,
But
to
it was
get
there.
it was there, and we hid good, but we at that point that was like my second stage was like get right in the decoys a little bit,
Mhm.
and then if it was really bad, I might say go behind the decoys to where the geese, as they're coming in with the wind, they got a
Mhm.
bunch of stuff that their eyes are on, their attention is on, and it's not you. You might
Mhm.
be behind everything. So I'd kind of determine on how you are having your blinds, and if you go into A-frames or fast strikes or panel blinds, I guess I don't think you don't put those in the kill hole. You don't really put
Mm.
those in the spread. You got to be behind the decoys,
No.
because I don't think when they're swinging and stuff, if you have this big hay bale almost looking thing, and they swing one way and half the spread disappears, and then they keep swinging and it shows back up,
Mhm.
it's going to look a little bit funny, and they might get a little weary off that. But I bet guys have shot
Yeah.
them out of the kill hole on an A-frame, but I think you kind of get off the geese on the A-frame, or or the fast strike. You just cover too much of that spread up once they're coming
Mhm.
in. If you get kind of behind everything, I think those blinds you can really get hidden and have great hunts with. I just don't know, like on a layout blind, you can get yourself kind of in that kill hole, and you can
Mhm.
have geese almost on top of your blind.
Yeah, and one thing I focused on too is the spinning wings we had out in case ducks came in. We put them off to the left side, and the kill hole was not dead center in front of the blinds. It was shifted a little bit more to the left too, and that's because all of us that were there that day are right-handed shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for a right-handed gun, I mean, it's a little easier to shoot across your body so it's easier to shoot to the left. Now, obviously, it wasn't exaggerated where you're shooting across the guy's blind next to you,
No,
but it's
just
always
a little
easier
bit,
to lean up and kind of shoot to the left. So we offset that kill hole a little bit too.
just a tiny bit.
So
yeah.
I think it helps that that kill hole and that opening is a little bit to your left. So as they're coming in, they're not staring right at the blinds either. And I mean, the mallards that came in read the script perfect.
Yeah.
They didn't hesitate. They didn't circle 5 times before they committed. There was a couple times where we're sitting there talking, and here's birds circling, coming right in.
Yeah.
Minimal calling.
Yeah,
So,
but if we had that goose spread out this past Sunday to where when we were hunting water,
yeah,
it'd have been dirty. Because,
and of course, that was the day we should have been in the field, but
yeah,
the day before had us all hooked.
We shot a great amount of mallards and
If we would have been
golden
field
eyes
hunting with the
Saturday.
honkers, we would have had a limit of specks.
Yeah.
We would have had our limit of honkers.
Yeah.
And we probably would have had some ducks too. That was our bad. Saturday had us hook, line, and sinker. So we went back and did the same thing, which we got birds, but I think with the way things were, we should have been in that field we were the 4 days prior.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, we don't know everything.
No, definitely don't know everything. I feel like I learn something new every time I go out. So you know, it's fun. But I know that I'm ready to get after the honkers because we tried hunting them and all we saw were ducks.
yeah. But no, it's about time. We feel like there's a lot of geese up in Iowa, but they'll be here before you know it.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like here we are. We were in the 50s, and I know Oklahoma, they were getting snow,
Mm-hmm.
and you know they're south of us. You know, Wisconsin, I saw several people up there posting about how it was, you know, upper 40s, low 50s up there. I mean, at what point do the geese say, you know what, maybe it's time to go south? Well, I mean, there's geese moving south, but I know there's people still. I've seen a lot of people on social media. You know, Indiana and Ohio, it's so warm there. You guys are having a heck of a season trying to get anything other than local birds. Minnesota, a lot of people are still fighting. You know, stale birds up there. So we need a big cold front to push through. We need a Arctic polar vortex or whatever those crazy things are called. I might have just made that up, but I think once upon a time I heard somebody use that term, so I'm going to throw that out there, regurgitate Arctic polar vortex, if that's a
cousin to the tropical hurricane.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. But anyway, that's what we need because it's getting slow. And we only have 3 weeks left here for honkers.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things, the giant honkers. Especially here, we're fortunate that a lot of the birds that we get are banded locally.
Mm-hmm.
So, which the band, we did call in that band, and it was a 4-year-old bird. It was a local bird from the Kansas City area.
Yeah.
So that's always
it's to
fun.
the point to where I want to shoot a band that's not from here.
Yeah. I think my furthest band was the Northwest Territories. That's my furthest band, personally. But again, it was a, you know, hunting around. That's where I've done 90% of my waterfowl hunting is in the Kansas City area. And it was a bird that was banded in Northwest Territories.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. Other than that, most of what you get around here is within 50 miles. It is what it is, but it's fun. So, yeah.
But yeah, some of the cool things that we've kind of got out this year and what we've seen in a little kind of a pickup on going with decoys is we got Big Al's silhouettes and online, and we've seen a lot of push for the guys running silhouette decoys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if running full body silhouettes, I think you can make an awesome looking spread.
Absolutely.
And there's guys out there that kill them over just silhouettes, but I've seen some spreads with some full bodies and shells and silhouettes. I think they all look great.
It's a way to get numbers up.
Oh yeah,
it's a way to get numbers up, and of course, if you've got to pack them in like we do, silhouettes are a huge bonus. Silhouettes and shells, especially. Yeah.
And then Lucky Duck has that collapsible, very light packable decoy that would have been nice on some of these pack-in hunts. And then I think it's really neat for guys who we're kind of talking about where to put the blinds at in the decoys. White Rock makes a Canada Goose sock that's got a head on it that attaches to your blind door on your layout blind, which if you get 2 or 3 of those on your layout blind and you get all your guys to do it and you got decoys all around you, I mean, you just disappear. Their depth perception is just going to confuse them because you have a decoy on top of you, and they're not going to pick you out. I think those were great. And then we came out with also the layout blind concealment panel for Rogers Goosebuster layout blinds.
Oh yeah,
to where it's a Max 5 on one side with brush loops and snow on the other side, and so you clip it onto your brush loops on the layout blind, and you clip them. It's a sheet of material that goes between the blinds. It basically helps you not have to fill up between the blinds so much. And you know that every time like you start opening your blinds and closing them, it kind of shoves all that stubble and all that stuff down into and you kind of expose your blind a little bit more than maybe you planned on at the beginning, because your blinds only look the best first thing in the morning. And once you in them, out of them, chasing birds around, doing whatever, they just slowly deteriorate as far as looking the best, unless you have a lot of downtime to keep working on them.
Yeah.
But that concealment panel has also 2 different spots you can use it at. One of the sides has 5 stakes down the side, and you can use it as a side skirt or a back skirt to kind of help ease that
hard edge.
The hard edge, like the back of the layout blinds. It's kind of it's not exactly vertical, but it's kind of slanted a little bit. But if you use that skirt, you can kind of, when those brush loops, you can really kind of turn that those humps of a layout blind into just a smooth mound if you use it between them and behind them and the side of them and all that stuff. So you can really get those layout blinds to look pretty flat.
Yeah,
and
instead of 4 aggressive humps in a field, that literally just looks like a gradual mound. And what I like too is you can store all your extra crap underneath them. Your gun scabbards, your blind bags, everything can be stored underneath them. So if you get into that really foul weather too, it's an extra layer of protection to keep your blind bag dry, but it hides everything. So you don't have everything either shoved in your blind bag, in your layout blind with you, or you're not trying to put it behind and then pile, stubble and everything on top of it. You just put those back, and if you've got them stubbled in or grassed in, or depending on how you put cover on them, you can even just roll them up.
Yeah, you just roll them up like a sleeping bag. Yeah, if you hunt corn a lot, heck, leave that corn in the stubble straps, roll it up,
throw it in the blind.
Throw it in the blind, and go about your day. If you hunt grass, a lot of times grass can be blended. If it's good dead grass and you're in a cornfield, it don't matter. Just throw some corn stubble on there and you're good to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a cool feature. And we got a new Rogers goose flag, which is kind of nice. We got to use that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that
New
Year's?
That was
the first time we got to take it out. It's brand new goose flag. What I like about it is you can fold the wings down to the handle and not break anything.
Yes.
I don't know if we got that on the packaging or anything, or we purposely did that, but we did a bunch of times, when sometimes it's an all black goose flag, and sometimes I don't like them laying around outside the layout blind. So after we're done, after we're trying to get these birds' attention, flagging them, we would just kind of grab the wings, and then whoever's run the flag was probably not goose calling. They would grab the wings, hold it up, and shove it in their foot bag, and it would be gone.
Yeah.
And that was nice. And I bet you can even pull it through. If you had the guy on the end have it, I bet you can pull it through the flag ports on the goose buster blind. So that's kind of nice.
Absolutely.
And they're a good price too.
Yes.
Like $15.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheap. So, well, we're almost probably out of time here.
So, we're back at it. We're probably gonna talk about some, the dog preacher, his first year. Maybe we have a buddy of ours this is his first waterfowl season. His first duck hunt or first waterfowl hunt at all was opening day of duck this year.
Yes.
Not even teal. It was opening day of duck.
It's a friend of ours, a mutual friend, who expressed some interest, and we said, all right, we'll get you started. So we drug him to Colorado on the elk hunt. And then,
and he's like a new hunter, period.
Yeah, he's new to, never deer, duck, turkey, anything.
Yeah.
So we drug him to Colorado. We made him hike around the mountains, and he enjoyed that. So we said
he wasn't really hunting. He was there for.
We
tricked him in there.
Yeah.
We tricked him into packing things out.
Yes. So anyway, then he expressed a little bit of interest into waterfowl hunting, and of course at that point, that was game on. That's a challenge for us to see how fast we can get him addicted. And he went, and
I think it was like the first group that came in opening day. He was done for.
Yeah, and then of course, we took him out, and he kept saying, "Man, I want to get my first greenhead." Well, there was an opportunity when we took him out like the second or third time that a big old drake came in all by himself, and we're like, "Okay, nobody's shooting except Tyler," and he jumped up and just stoned that mallard. Man, I just love seeing stuff like that. Just taking someone new out and the smile on his face. So we'll get him in on a podcast too to talk about what his thoughts are, being someone who's hunting, and it's fun. I love watching someone new that's never done any hunting, and you can just watch them. You can fuel that addiction and just watch them grow into that hunter, and how much it takes off, and then they don't like you anymore because they don't have any money. And then, so anything. But
sometimes you got to say, hold back. Like they take them hunting once and they come back to you and I was like, well, I'm thinking about buying all this. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I've got some of that stuff you can borrow.
Yeah.
It's okay, bud. But yeah, so we didn't want him to go broke. But yeah, so we're going to wrap this podcast up. But yeah, we're back. We just want to say thank you for helping us have a tremendous 2018. And yeah.
Yeah, we went moment of silence for the Middle Zone Missouri duck season. It just ended Sunday.
Yeah, RIP Middle Zone.